Hello everyone and no one, and welcome back to another Rotten's Guns. Today we're doing a mostly functioning idiot review. I should have had a pour by Optics, but because of having a little screw issues, which are my fault, not the gun's fault nor the optics fault, I want to get another like 200 to 300 rounds to take out and put through the gun that I'm reviewing right now, because it performed for the most part flawlessly, which is my Bul Armory TAC that I picked up a little while ago. So it's the 5-inch variant that I put this Alpine optic on. First I'd used the wrong screws that were almost right. That's again my fault. Got the right screws, but I think they might have been a tad too long. So, or just the dagnabbit. The Loctite that came on the screws was just not good enough. So I've re-Loctited them. It's had the over 24 hours to cure fully. So I'm going to go through and take it out again and put another like 200 to 300 rounds through it, because otherwise, yeah, I'm blaming the little hiccups that I had either on the 147 grain Blazer I had was just a little fatter, because I got a couple failure to feeds where the bullet would actually ramp up a little too much. It was either that or somehow it was me from getting fatigued, because I put 1,000 rounds through this thing in like 2 days, and the predominant of it was done during the second day. And all I can say is, for the Bul Armory, I get it, guys. These things are freaking nice. I had a couple instances where I didn't realize how light the trigger is, even for a Series 70. I'm sorry, not Series 70. God, I'm an idiot sometimes. A Series 80 trigger, it's still super light. Unfortunately, when I did order this, I didn't realize that it was not the trigger link system that I was hoping for. So I kind of got played like a fool, but this trigger itself is still nice. The trigger link system just allows you to change out the trigger without having to take the whole gun apart and having like a gunsmith, or if you know how to do it, the entire trigger assembly removed and replaced. You can like remove a screw, remove part of the trigger, change it from a, more rounded to less rounded to flat to a shorter reach to a longer reach. And that the nice thing about these as well is nowadays they also come with the magwell, usually not installed, but they have the pin for the magwell and for without the magwell. Do be aware, if you're going to add the magwell, most people don't tell you this, if you don't know, your mainspring housing is going to pop out. There's a spring. I should have figured it, but again, not the smartest guy in the world. But when they talk about how for the grips of these, they're aggressive, like my thumb right through here has mostly healed, because I think right through here, there's a little bit of a rough spot that catches and was going right into my palm. That, or it was the frickin' safety. I can't remember exactly, but these things are aggressive for their grip texture. I know on the several other guns I've had, like I've complained a bit back here of it getting too slick when my hands start to sweat. I can't complain about the grip texture for this. Again, I put maybe 200 to 300 rounds through it on Saturday, and then 700 to 800 rounds through it on Sunday, and losing grip was not an issue. When I used the irons on this, the thing was spot on. And the only time I even added a little bit of gun oil to it was at about 900 rounds, because I was like, maybe it needs a little lube and that's why it's having, but that wouldn't explain why it tipped up so much instead of going in. So not quite sure on that one. Like I said, it might be because the 147 grain is a fatter for its conical shape than typically like a 124 or 115, because I had ordered 124 and for some odd reason received 147, but I'm not going to complain about that whole thing. But then the other nice thing for the Bul Armory is they do come with 3 different footprints, so you can do the RMSC, RMR, or Delta Point Pro. The other nice thing is where they're anchored to isn't to the plate itself. This little plate right here is actually just a footprint holder. It has 4 separate holes to use. So the optic itself is actually anchored into the slide instead of, the plate being anchored into the slide and the optic into the plate. which is why if you can kind of see here, there's this little nub. They have that to where it extends further out so you can still use the wider optic of the RMR. But one of two things from this has happened that I was expecting to happen. It performed, other than the couple hiccups, which, like I said, I think might have been on me. Might have been braking, might have been the ammo. I mean, granted, like I said, it only happened like 3 to 4 times, I think. I didn't get a lot of the filming of this on camera just because after a while, putting so many rounds today got hot, and I was saving most of the shooting for when I review the Optic. But like I said, I'm going to go out, put like another 200 to 300 rounds through it, clean it up, and then I'll get the review on this Alpine here, which for the most part did pretty well, but because of, like I said, having a bit of the screw issues, getting a little loose, I can't necessarily say it was the Optic or my bad installation or the screws were just too long or something. But overall, if you're looking to spend the money and you don't want to spend staccato money, buy a Bul Armory. Yeah, they have their own proprietary mags, so you can't use the regular 2011 mags or double stack 1911 because those are originally based off the double stack 45s. But by having their own proprietary mag, the grip is a little thinner than your standard double stack 1911 or 2011. And to get comparable to this from staccato, this isn't knocking staccato because I haven't actually shot any of their guns. I probably would have spent about $1,000 more because their guns are only going to come with 2 mags and no optic mount. This gun came with 4 mags, 3 different optic plates for, you know, whichever system you wanted to actually use, and was basically ready to go. I also do like the fact that it is a toolless guide rod. So in there's the little, in here somewhere, because I haven't taken it apart, there's the little hole you put basically like a bent paper clip in. They have the tool with it as well. I mean, the frickin' thing that this came with was really nice, but I am way too lazy to go 8 feet to grab it at the moment. But yeah, quite literally, I don't want to hold this thing too tight right now because my hands are still kind of recovering. Because apparently, because of this, I've discovered I kind of have soft hands. But the other thing that happened from this is now there's like 2 to 3 more Bul Armories I want. I'm getting to the point to where I morally, for the most part, just now want the expensive pistols because Conan Noir's put it out, said it, I think Honest Out. There's several different gun tubers that have said it. Once you start getting into these guns that are exponentially nicer, which by the way, yeah, super easy for the safety on either side. You can really hear that safety go on and off. So it's exponentially better. I mean, quite literally, I paid $700 more for this than I did for my Prodigy, and I got exponentially more with it. Like, I could have went with the 4 1/4, and it basically would have just smoked my Prodigy. But yeah, like, this thing makes you want to run fast. But what I went to is, like, I kind of want to get one of the ultralight SASs, but now after this one and some of the videos I've seen, I kind of really want to get that the TAC Pro comp to where it has the compensator and then the V6 porting, because the regular Pro of the TAC has the V8 porting. I kind of wish they would make just a compensated version. I'm personally not the biggest fan of porting, but I do understand the benefits it has. I just think compensators themselves are cool because, well, I'm weird. But yeah, if you're looking for a double stack 1911 that's gonna most likely run like a freaking workhorse and just eat what you put through it, and at, like, I think it's supposed to be like every couple thousand rounds you'd need to lube it really. And if you really want to go and clean it and lube it each time, you can, but it's not as necessary on most modern guns. But yeah, I should also bring up that it does have that nice double undercut. One of the other nice things that a lot of companies don't do that they do, they actually do texture the screws. I don't know how well that can be seen. But yeah, this thing is It is freaking nice. And I'm looking forward to putting a lot more rounds through this. Now, I will say that I thought about putting the Trigicon fiber optic armor that I have on this, but when I put it on here, the window was so small with how high these sights are for the co-witness that it wasn't worth it. I had next to no window. So I went with this one. And from what I can tell of the Optic, it performed. Like I said, I'm going to bring it back out to put some more rounds to it to make sure the screws were the issue, and plausibly of just me pounding freaking rounds through it that it was causing problems. But yeah, if you're looking for a freaking super slick gun that you want, an expensive gun, I mean, they've got everything from carry guns with the ultralight, the EDC, and you could even do the TAC in the 4 1/4 as well for carry, to full-on competition, open competition where they got all the extra porting compensators and ridiculousness of them, to where they'll have the gas pedal here and the freaking Optic is actually mounted above the slide so it never moves. But these things are just freaking cool. Did I need this? Not in the slightest. I could have put that money towards something else. I know when some people are like, well, you could have just bought a Glock. I own like a dozen of them. I'm not knocking Glock. They're a good gun for what they are. But there is something about the nicer guns. Now, I will say for this, I do wish I could have put the light a little further back. But this was the only spot it would actually sit without being canted up, and I just didn't like that. I did have it that I had to tighten the living crap out of this because it came loose on me several times the first day. After tightening it at the range on the first day and really reefing out a bit without, trying to break it, it has not had a problem coming off. So only issue I'm looking at was probably my fault for the screw, either the screws themselves or my fault. So I'm going to take it back out, find it, and then we should have a review coming out for this Optic, like I said. And yeah, that's about it. So Bul Armory TAC, freaking nice gun, and just shot like a freaking bat out of hell, even with the hiccups, which, like I said, I think were either me or ammo related, because I didn't have any parts like I had on the 08 Defense to where the slide got sticky, but I'm still thinking that was the remanufactured ammo. So again, Bul Armory knocked out of the park. These guys are insane for what they have come out to build, but they're insane in all the right ways. So thanks for watching. Have a great week. Have a great day. Go out to the range, get some shooting, do some dry fire practice, and if you can be legally armed, stay legally armed. Later, folks.